Howdy! Hi everyone, and welcome to our weekly live stream here on the Freedom is Not Free channel. And let me tell you what, I'm in the United States right now, land of the free, home of the brave. So happy about it. Oh my God, I love America. Like, honestly, my favorite country on this planet. I mean, I love Poland, but whenever I go to the United States, whenever I come back, it's like, it feels like home. So I have three homes probably. It's Poland, it's Taiwan, and it's the United States. I also have relatives here, so I always felt very welcomed here. So yeah, first of all, let me tell you what I'm going to do here in this beautiful country, what places I'm going to visit, and why am I here for? What am I here for? And also we'll discuss for a little the piece of news that's been currently, like, everyone is talking about it in Taiwan. It's arrest of the chairman of Taiwan's People's Party, the third largest party in Taiwan, Mr. Wen-je, who used to be mayor of Taipei for 2 terms or 8 years. So, alrighty. So I'm here to do content for my main channel mostly, and I got invited to many Taiwanese events, conferences. There's also going to be a parade in New York City. So if you guys are in the New York area, on September 14th, there will be an event. There will be a rally for Taiwan to join the United Nations, and it's organized by Taiwanese Americans and Taiwanese diaspora members here in the United States. So I hope that if you have time, and if you are in the area, I will be very happy to see you over there. I will be filming for them, and I'll also be taking part in that parade. There's also Taiwan Day, so if you guys have time, it's also going to happen in New York, in Queens. I have to double check with the area. It's gonna be on 7th of September. 7th of September. So basically next week. So, right. And right now, yesterday I've been to Rhode Island. I hope that I will have more time actually exploring the state, because Providence is the birthplace of my favorite author, H.P. Lovecraft, and I want to spend. I like New England, even though it's very pro Democrat here, and it's pretty blue. But I like the culture of New England, and I like how historic are the cities and the places around here, and nature is also just beautiful. And let me tell you what, I've never been to New England before, never. I always wanted to come, but never had a chance. Like in the United States, I've been. I know the South pretty well. I've visited California many times. I have relatives there. So my uncle is from California. And yeah, I've also been to Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Missouri, Illinois. Yeah, like all the Polish people probably have been to Illinois at one point of their lives. Yeah, but never to New England. And I really like it here. I thought it's gonna be like Europe here, because like everyone supports not everyone, many people support the Democratic Party and like policies of the Democratic Party. And I was pleasantly surprised that there are as many pickup trucks on the roads and on highways as everywhere else. And I'm also I was very, very pumped up and very, very happy once I arrived, because I've booked that mystery car with Avis. And I was afraid, because my plane, it was the flight was from Berlin to Newark. And in Newark, I mean, New Jersey, it's also like very, very left-wing state. And I was so afraid, okay, I've booked the mystery car. Is it going to be an EV? And I'm driving every day. And it's a pain in the neck to charge those EVs. And I was so happy that I got a minivan. I got Chrysler Pacifica, like my favorite car. So driving my minivan around New England, feeling like living the best days of my life. And yesterday there was a very good event in Rhode Island. Oh, Chloe. So you started in Providence. Okay. So you're not in the area right now. Yesterday there was a big Taiwanese event, a dragon boat race in Pawtucket, like Rhode Island. It's like north of Providence. It's just, yeah, it's very close to Providence, and it was amazing. Like there was a governor, some Governor McKee, right? Very nice guy, like very pro Taiwan guy who's been to Taiwan. There was the liaison. Wait a second. No. There was also the Rhode Island representative. Also very supportive of Taiwan, like, delivered a speech like very good. And many Taiwanese people from all around the United States. And it was so great to see, I mean, people of various cultural backgrounds, like African Americans, Latin Americans, and Asian Americans, and like European ancestry Americans, like everyone competing in that dragon boat race. And then there were Taiwan snacks. It was great. I really enjoyed my time there. Made a very good video. It's going to be on the Taiwanese news probably tomorrow. And, yeah, I wish Taiwan all the best. Also had an opportunity to meet with the Director General of Taiwanese Representative Office in Boston. Yeah, he'll be giving me a big interview next week, so really looking forward to it. And yeah, I really enjoyed my time here. And probably you guys in New England will make me change my mind on the Democrat Party. Because I mean, I am in California pretty often, and I mean, I spent a long time there when I was a child, and it changed a lot, and I'm not happy with what I'm seeing in California. But here in New England, yeah, it's a totally different side to the Democratic Party and its leadership. And I like that here in the Northeast that the Dems here, they also care about small businesses, like very interesting, like how the governor and people were talking about like supporting small businesses, education, and so on and so forth. I was very pleasantly surprised. And I'm very happy to see more Democrats supporting Taiwan. So whoever wins, it should be a good news for Taiwan, because the Republicans do support Taiwan, and also the Democrats. It doesn't still mean that there is some bad people in the Democratic Party, like many of them are in California, though, from California, like Gavin Newsom, who cleaned San Francisco specifically for Xi Jinping, or like the former governor of New York, right, Cuomo, or Eric Swalwell, or people like Jake Sullivan, who probably all Ukraine hates right now, and Taiwanese are also not fans of Jake Sullivan. So yeah, I will be traveling around Northeast. We'll also be going down to DC for a couple of days for a conference, but most of my time I will be spending like in that area, New England and NYC. Yeah, beware of the rhinos as well. Yeah, Republicans also have people like Rand Paul, who are yeah. Also not a fan of those people. But if we look at the legislative initiatives, and if we look at Congress people who support Taiwan and who are very supportive of Asian democracies and deepening relationships with the United States allies, the Democratic Party is also full of those. So that's a good thing. And if we look at the bills that have been put forward, many of those pro-Taiwan bills have been actually sponsored by the Republicans. I mean, right now, this is like 100% my point of view and my perspective. because I've been following with Taiwan affairs for a very long time, and at least during the past 20 years, there has been more support of Taiwan from the Republicans. But that doesn't mean that the Dems that there are Democratic Party members that support Taiwan also. Like that's how I see it. And pro-China people, there are more of those people in the Democratic Party, and especially with the younger members of the Democratic Party, unfortunately, and people like Ilhan Omar, who is not very supportive of Taiwan. So yeah. But the Democrats take care of the middle-class workers, and there are way more of these people in the upper-class Republicans. Well, let me tell you one thing, because recently the policies that have been put forward by the Democratic Party, they don't care about the middle-class workers as much as they used to. Yes, if we're talking about the Democratic Party in the 80s and the 70s, yes, they were pro-working class people. Right now, with driving all the businesses outside of the country, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, they're talking about raising minimum wages, raising taxes, and so on, but that drives businesses out of the country. And that's why there are so many like investments in China, in the other countries. The Republicans, I agree with the Republicans on one thing. If you lower down the tax burden for businesses, the businesses would come back. Everyone would like to invest and to develop in their own country. This is absolutely reasonable and understandable. But if it is not possible to maintain your income, your stable income, and if it is not possible for you to actually operate your factories in your country, you will move out. Like this is what's happening with the blue states, because like my uncle, he's from California, and he witnessed that with his own eyes. And he also he's retired already, but when he used to have like a small business before, and yeah, in California it's very hard to do. Even if you are working for the local community in California, your expenses are much higher than in any of the red states. That's why many Californian business owners are actually moving to Arizona, Nevada, or even to Texas or Tennessee, because the tax burden is lower. Have you seen Project 2025? I mean, like the very like conservative initiative, right? Yeah, I've read about it, and I don't agree with them on many things. So I mean, it's too. Because with some of those policies, it would lead to isolationism, and we don't need an isolationist America right now anywhere in the world. And America shouldn't become an isolationist country. This is not how it works. You have to cooperate with your allies, and you have to build a safer world, because we're in the Cold War era right now, new Cold War. And to keep it Cold War, and to keep the war cold, and not to make the war become a hot conflict like the Third World War, we have to improve our relationships with all of the allies. And Project 2025, it's a very isolationist initiative. Yes, there is a problem with the border, but that doesn't mean that America has to be locked on itself. I don't think that that's the future under the right, because Trump said that they're too conservative, and he doesn't agree with them. So that's the vision of some of the members on the right. I mean, what I hope for the right, because I consider myself a conservative also. Like on many issues, I agree, like with limited government, with gun ownership rights, with low taxes, with strong families, strong military. These are my positions. They align pretty well with the Republican Party. And as a Catholic, I think it's pretty obvious that I do support like that kind of vision. But what made America strong is having strong relationships with the allies. And I hope that the Republican Party becomes more Reagan-like, that the Republican Party has more vision of Ronald Reagan than Project 2025. But I still don't think that Project 2025 really represents Republican Party in any way, shape, or form. Because if you look at many of the Republican representatives or senators and the bills that they put forward and the positions they agree on, including like very conservative people like Doug Burgum, for example, they all support Taiwan, and they all that there is also like a big support of Ukraine from the Republican Party, including people that are very like pro-Trump, including Doug Burgum. And for Taiwan, I mean, J.D. Vance was also he was a very vocal supporter of Taiwan. So I mean, it's not as isolationist as they are being portrayed as, but we still have to pay attention to the problems on the border and with drug trafficking, with fentanyl. And I think this is where the Democrats lose, unfortunately, because the U.S. has to have strong borders. And something should be done against fentanyl. And you have to sanction China, and you have to actually cut ties with dictatorships like China, like Russia. It's dangerous. It's dangerous not only for the United States, it's dangerous for the entire world. So yeah, I mean, there is one thing that I can agree with Barack Obama on when he said that there should not be any red states, blue states, only the United States. Policy-wise, he didn't achieve that, but the vision itself is right. Yeah, it's correct. And there are core interests and core positions that many of Americans agree on. And with the Republicans, I really hope to see like more Reagan-like vision of the country. And same thing, I hope that the Democrats move a little further to the center, out of the left side, because the switch to the left that they're making will lead to appeasement towards many of the dictatorship, to many of the dictatorships, including China. And it's also worrying to see the diminishing support of Israel from the Democrat Party. So yeah, and also border issues, they have to be faced, and small businesses have to be protected. So yeah, there are many things like that. Why do Indian Americans hate Kamala Harris? I don't think that the whole diaspora hates Kamala Harris, but the problem here is like with the movement towards like the left side of the political spectrum, which Kamala Harris is actually, I think that everyone would agree with that. Talking about the equality of outcome instead of equality of opportunity, like talking about the equity and staying woke and for the being absolutely useless when it comes to the border issues, to drug trafficking, to problems like that, and plus socialized healthcare, like things that she supports. This is not American to begin with. So America was built on a spirit of entrepreneurship, spirit of strong small businesses and family unions, right? So Indian Americans don't like her probably because some of the diaspora members, because I know I'm not as familiar with Indian Americans as I am familiar, for example, with Taiwanese Americans or Chinese Americans. I also have some Cuban Americans friends, and also Ukrainian Americans and Belarusian Americans, people who came from the countries that were not as free, or who know the dangers of countries like China. Because many Taiwanese Americans, they understand how dangerous is China and how ambitious is China when it comes to territorial expansionism, and they don't want to see something like that in their country. I mean, there is a she's from California, Lily Tang Williams, also a politician from California. she survived cultural revolution. So if you see some defectors from North Korea living in the United States right now, or if you see people like Lily Tang Williams, like who survived cultural revolution, or if you see people coming from Cuba or Venezuela, they don't want socialism in the United States. Nobody wants it. As Polish Americans don't want socialism in the United States, most of them. Why? Easy, because we know that socialism makes you poor and makes a hellhole out of your country. So we have to have like strong businesses. And if Indian Americans don't like Kamala Harris, that's probably related to that that thing, that she's being too far to the left on the political spectrum. And her VP choice also showed that. I mean, Kamala, I'm not as concerned about Kamala Harris as I'm concerned about Tim Walz, who is basically a Chinese asset, who used to work in China, teach in China, and who says that US should not compete with China and should be friends with China and develop together with China. And look what did Minnesota become. So I was actually pretty hopeful when Biden said that he won't take part in the elections, that it will be Kamala Harris, because I know that Kamala Harris, she had some connections with Taiwanese diaspora before, and I thought that that might be good for Taiwan. And if she extended on Biden's policies towards Ukraine, that might be good. That might be good news, actually. But then Tim Walz came, and right now I have even more doubts. And then when Netanyahu came to the United States, the prime minister of Israel, she didn't attend. That also makes me feel like, okay, so where the country, which direction is the country moving into? So yeah, but let's see. I'm still not as I don't think that if Trump gets elected, it would be a catastrophe for the United States. And I don't think that if Kamala gets elected, it would be a catastrophe for the United States either. But there will be more challenges if Kamala gets elected. And the challenges would be related not so much to the international politics and the foreign policy of Kamala Harris and whoever would be the Secretary of State, but to internal problems. Because the economy won't be better. They said that they will build back better. Did they build back better? I don't know. I don't think so. I think economy was in a better shape before COVID, when Trump was the president. And secondly, migration issues and fentanyl. Yeah, I'm in Boston. Now. So you will be optimistic if either of the parties wins. LOL. I'll be pretty doomed if the Republicans win, but according to you, you might need more research into their proposals. I'm hopeful. And I don't think that Trump is a disaster. I agree with him on many of his policies, especially being harsh on China, standing strong against Iran. Doing building better relationships with Israel, supporting Israel in the Middle East, pursuing peace in the Middle East finally, and strong border. I mean, yeah, I don't think that he is. Yeah, that's what people say about him, that he messed up during the COVID pandemic. But do you know? Okay, one question too. Do you know Operation Warp Speed? Do you know a thing called Operation Warp Speed, one of Trump's initiatives? You can Google it. Basically, Operation Warp Speed is how the United States mentioned warp speed. Warp speed. Warp speed. Warp speed. Operation Warp Speed. See? You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. Okay. Let me show you this one. Public-private partnership initiated by the United States government to facilitate and accelerate the development, manufacture, and distribution of vaccines. This is how the United States managed to make their vaccines first. Yeah, see, and that's also Trump administration. That's also Trump. Trump, what he did with the coronavirus pandemic? Close the borders. First thing, close the borders. Very important. Listen to what the Taiwanese doctor said, but it was too late. And with the United States and how the country works, why? I mean, it was very saddening to see how the government started those overreaching policies, even though it was for the benefit of the people. But this is not what the United States was built on, and so many deaths coming from coronavirus. That was actually. If you want to talk about COVID, blame China. I mean, like that's the first thing, because it was China who concealed the pandemic. It was China who. The WHO was compromised at that time, and Secretary General Tedros, he basically listened to what Xi Jinping told him, that everything is under control, and that's what led to the global pandemic. And when it was there and it was when COVID was here in the United States, it was too late already, too late to do anything. And what Trump did right is facilitated the development of the vaccine as soon as it was possible, and that was the right thing to do. But lockdowns, they won't work, and they didn't work. And looking at the American spirit, it was the first time. I mean, look at the deaths in Taiwan and the deaths from coronavirus in the United States. Taiwanese people know what a global pandemic is, because they're next to China, and all kind of bad things come into China, starting with the SARS. Also, many people died from SARS in Taiwan, and after that, they started actually learning those best ways how to combat the pandemic. That's why the virus prevention policies, that's what Americans and people all around the world should learn from Taiwan. Secondly, like with agricultural products, some of the illegal meat imports from China that also leads to like death of livestock in Taiwan. So Taiwanese people know what China is doing, like that swine fever. There was like swine fever that led to like massive deaths of swines. And Taiwanese people also eat pork, so it's like one of the most crucial survival meats that the country produces. So it's Taiwan is very experienced when it comes to China and when it comes to problems that China is creating. So yeah, that's the thing. And I don't like when the Democrats are trying to demonize Trump, because he's not a demon per se. He's a politician, and he had some experienced people and experts in their areas of expertise around him, and he had most of his policies made sense at the time. So Rhode Island is very blue, yeah, and Massachusetts is even bluer, blue as the sky, blue as the skies. But yeah. And I don't want to demonize Kamala Harris and the current administration, but what I want to say, that there are people who are acting and behaving as China's assets within that administration. Why? Because what they do, it benefits China in the end. People like Jake Sullivan are dangerous for the United States, especially visiting China right now and not allowing Ukraine to use American weaponry to actually shoot down targets in Russia, on the Russian territory. So these things are not okay with me personally, but I don't think that all the Dems are bad or all the Republicans are bad. I'm absolutely... I don't like the far left, like Lao Zhen says. I don't like the far left, and I don't like the direction where the Democratic Party is moving right now. I hope that Republican Party moves more towards Reagan's policies, and the Dems move more towards like the centrist policies, and not to the left, because leftism makes your countries poor and weak, and it's not a good thing, because there is one thing. The United States became, and it was from the beginning, a haven and a safe space and a safe place where people from very unfree countries, but that have the feeling of and the need to live to live freely, right? Like during the first settlers who didn't want to stay in the respective empires, wanted to move to the new world, to explore and to live without the under the overreaching hands of the government. And later on, the United States became like a beacon of freedom. I mean, like that sounds like poetic, and I don't know, maybe naive and too cliche like, but anyway, people who escaped Soviet Union, people who are escaping Cuba, Venezuela, China, moving to the United States to live freely, not under the overreaching hands of their governments. And these are the people who actually built the strong United States. And I hope, as Premier Kishida said, that the United States is moving towards the self-doubt. The United States should not doubt itself. It's the best country in the world. It's the best and the freest country on earth. And there are many supporters of the United States in the world. And we should stand together and protect our democracy and our freedom. And moving towards like the far left policies where the government decides everything and everything is nationalized will only make the United States weaker. Yeah. So those weapon manufacturers are mostly Republicans. I like weapons. I think everybody should have a gun. Assault weapons, everyone should have a gun. Everyone should be, I mean, the Second Amendment is the most important right that people here in the United States have. You should have a right to have a gun because all the bad guys, they have guns already. No matter if it's legal, illegal, they have their guns. And how can you protect yourself if your government gets crazy, if it becomes crazy? Not only from the thugs, but like as the last frontier. No, not the last frontier, like your house is your last fortress, right? That you have to protect from anyone. That's why the Second Amendment rights came. So that's very important. That's why I don't like that the Democrats are usually trying to limit the rights that the Second Amendment provides to people here in the United States. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I say. I'm very conservative in many issues. Like there are things that I agree with the progressives, with the liberals on, like marriage equality rights, for example, because I don't think that marriage is a thing that the government should take care of, should actually interfere in. If there are two adult people, no matter what their sexes, genders, identities are, if they want to live together, they have to have all of their rights protected. Like that's it. I mean, yeah, if you're religious, you might have your own concerns, but religion is within your family, within your community. You can disagree with that, but government is a little bit different. So yeah, like these things, I will stay with progressives, like on the issues of marriage equality, but that's probably like a single issue. And I'd also think that all the people should be treated equally, like also like very basic thing. Yeah, Second Amendment is necessary. It is necessary. So in weapon manufacturers, yeah, I stand together with them. Go NRA. I hope that Poland also legalizes like weapons for the citizens. Yeah. And also countries like Taiwan. I think that Taiwan, everyone in Taiwan should go through military training, including women, including everyone, because the threats that are coming from China are like unimaginable. It's you have to protect yourself, and you have to learn how to protect yourself. And that's your responsibility. You should not outsource everything to the government. And that's the problem. That's why I do agree with more issues with the Republicans than I do with the Democrats, because I don't think that issues like medical care, like education, like like protection, like your protection, like what the police is doing, or that these things should be outsourced to the government. That's a bit un-American. But yeah, Rhode Island is very liberal. But I mean, it's much better than I thought it would be, and it's a birthplace of my favorite author, H.P. Lovecraft. So I really do enjoy my time here. But I mean, the people here, like yesterday, there was that event, and the governor of Rhode Island speaking, and there was like the lieutenant government talking, governor encouraging everyone to vote. that was very interesting. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but yeah, she implied like that everyone should vote for Kamala, because she's a dam also, right? And I've seen like the people attending the event. I've seen many like hats with like "Women for Trump" or "Make America Great Again," but that's a good thing about America. You can have different opinions, and you still can attend the events of each other, and you can talk and communicate. I mean, having a good discussion and a good debate is always good. So just be respectful, and yeah, I think that's the beauty of America. You are entitled to have different opinions on different issues, as long as it benefits freedom, right? Yeah. So today I will also attend an event here in Massachusetts, and tomorrow, like the whole next week, I will be traveling like in the area. Well, look at what states are safer. Will you feel safer in Santa Monica or in downtown San Francisco or anywhere in Texas or Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi or like any of the states in the South? I feel safer in red states than I do feel in the blue states. And in blue states, the gun ownership rights are, like, the gun regulations are stricter. I mean, many folks claim that the government should confiscate all the guns. Who are these people? Like, probably some far left radicals that are demanding that kind of thing. Because even Joe Biden didn't stand for things like that. He said that there should be restrictions. I had to just Google the direct speech, but he didn't say that the guns should be confiscated. Only radicals want the guns to be confiscated. How are you supposed to protect yourself? And this is unconstitutional. This is unconstitutional. Public security has worsened so badly. Just ask the questions. Just why has it worsened? Why has it worsened? Right, and last 4 years wasn't the Republicans who were in power, and for 8 years prior to that, like, we only had like 4 years of Trump. Before that, it was like 8 years of Obama. Recession plus illegal migration, like drugs. People on drugs are also tend to commit more crimes. And just look at the safety and the homicide rates. They're much lower in the red states, but the red states are more liberal when it comes to gun ownership. Yeah. So the problem is not with the guns, but the problem is with people who are committing crimes. And in some areas, it's like downward spiral, right? It's like downward spiral. You look at Oakland, California, or San Francisco, because first the drugs come, then the public safety worsens, then the police doesn't dare to come. then it becomes even worse because the police doesn't come, and so it becomes like an area that's out of reach for any public security measures. So it then becomes worse and worse and worse. Not because people are owning the gun. The gun laws in California are very strict, much stricter than in Georgia, for example. But Georgia is safer. Why? Why is Georgia safer than California? So it's not the problem is not with the gun. The problem is with criminals, with people that don't use the guns as they're supposed to use them. And let me tell you what, if the government decides to confiscate those guns, it will not eliminate crime. It will only make crime worse, because those people who own those guns illegally, they will keep on having guns. They will not give their guns to the government. No. But you and me and the person on the street, your every Joe and every Jane, law-abiding citizens paying taxes and so on and so forth, they will not have their guns. They won't be able to protect themselves. And look at the state of the police right now. Call the cops. When do they come? And pretty fast in the red states, and maybe in some of the blue states that are safer. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Confiscating guns is the worst thing that will end freedom in America. That's the final. That's your final tool to protect yourself from anything. Yeah. And right now they're also like gangs and cartels. Exactly. Do you think that gangs and cartels will just give up their weapons to the government? Will just yield their weapons to the government? No, they won't. But you will have to. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, I really do enjoy my time here. I love America. And I mean, let me tell you, many of my European friends, my Polish friends and family members will probably not agree with that on me, but I think America is superior on many issues than Europe. It's very drivers friendly. You can drive your car anywhere, and the infrastructure is very car friendly, very good. Stores are open till late. Most of the stores are open till late. Service, oh my God, how good is the service here? Everyone is smiling at you. Did you try to buy anything in Germany? No small talk, nothing. Just bam, 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 bunker. That's it. No. And people are very, very open. And I had so many political discussions like during these 3 days, even here, and even though many people are liberal, but respectful political discussions, and very engaging, very interesting. And the roads, the cars, the food, I think it's just on another level. But yeah, I like America. I like everything about America. I just don't like when America is divided, but yeah. Don't lead then. If you well, if I have an opportunity, if I have an opportunity to stay, if I have a visa and an invitation and job contract, then yes, I would like to stay. Of course, we'll be looking forward to it. But I don't want to. I don't want to do anything illegally. I'm a law-abiding citizen. How do you view our relationship with the EU and especially with Deutschland? That's a very good question. I mean, I am for more pressure being applied to Germany to increase military spending and to, that's the one thing Trump was right about. Germany was too dependent on Russia. And looking at the EU relationships, I think the relationships with EU are very good, but in the EU there are some dividing forces, including France and Germany, with France trying to build its own European army, non-dependent on the United States, and decrease to a certain extent the context with the United States. But I think everything that is related to the European military should be coordinated with the United States, and our common security should be negotiated together, and not by building the EU army that will be antagonistic to NATO, for example. No. And Germany, with its ignorance towards the rise of Russian military and aggression towards the neighboring states. So yeah, and yeah, there are some ridiculous like trade things, like not allowing American pork to be sold in the European Union. So yeah, I mean there are problems. There are problems with the relationships with the European Union, and there are some issues that should be, and they have to be targeted, and they have to be negotiated. Yeah. So the California State Parliament has passed the bills for no personal ID for the voting and some free money for illegal immigrants. Oh, I've heard there was a bill to, yeah, that the misdemeanors thing, and also free medical care to be provided to the illegal immigrants. But that's the problem. I mean, we should divide illegal immigrants from asylum seekers. If they are asylum seekers and if they are waiting for the asylum, there should be a procedure. They should be issued paperwork. The United States should know who these people are. But if they are, like the liberals like to say, undocumented, that have no paperwork, that they arrived, nobody knows how, we don't know who these people are, what is their background, they cannot say, and these people should be offered medical care. This is ridiculous. This is so wrong. This is extremely wrong. I'm pro-immigration, but you should know who the people that come to your country are. I think there should be more opportunities provided to people from all around the world to come to the United States, to come to the European countries, to the European Union, that can find a job there and provide for the country and then become law-abiding citizens. Because yeah, our birth rates are low everywhere. So, I mean, everybody is criticizing Poland for not allowing illegal migrants coming in, refugees, so on and so forth. But Poland is the country that issues most of the residential permits per year in all the European Union. We're even not the most populous European Union country. So, but there is a procedure, and you should follow through, and you should wait when you're supposed to wait. You should stay in line. And same thing with like. And voter ID thingy. I mean, like, what some of those liberals are even talking about. I don't think there is a single country on earth where you're not supposed to provide any kind of identification before voting. Let me tell you how I vote in Poland. Like, we get the information where the voting poll for my household registration is, and I go there and vote. If I know that I'm going to be abroad at the time, I contact with the embassy of the country of Poland in the country where I go to. Like, I voted in the parliamentary elections last time I was in the UK. So I wrote a letter, like an email. There was a form that you email to the embassy in London. Say, yeah, my name is blah, blah, blah. And on that day, I'm going to be in the UK. So I'm informing you that I'm going to vote. Then you provide your ID, your Polish ID, and they check. Okay, name right, birth date right, birthplace right. Okay, and then you get your ballot. This is how it works, like everywhere else in the world too. In Taiwan, for example, you're not even permitted to vote while you're abroad. You have to go back to the country, and you have to provide your ID, and you can only vote at the place where your household registration is. That's why they have like the culture of 回乡投票, 回家投票, coming back to your hometown to vote. This is how it works in Taiwan. And I mean, what does it mean? No voting identification. I think that the authorities should know who is voting. Otherwise, there are people who are not supposed to be in the United States, who don't have citizenship. The United States, like there are many people who have only green cards, and people with green cards cannot vote. They're just residents, they're not citizens. Once they get naturalized, then yeah, of course, but you should provide your identification. So that's that's like for me that's something outlandish. Voter ID is racist. Why? Everyone can apply for a passport card. Everyone can apply for driver's license if you can drive. That's how do you live without an identification, any kind of identification form? That's for me. That's ridiculous. And this is the rhetoric, and these are the policies that I totally disagree with the Democratic Party. And I think this is just that's insane. That's insane. I mean, everybody is afraid of people who don't have the right to vote, that they will vote in your elections. This is how elections get falsified. Yeah. Yeah, that's the immigrant issues in France. It in some areas, yeah, it's not good. Not good. France, that many places in France are, there are problems there. There are problems there. Germany is much safer. Germany is much safer, and Germany actually, I have to give them that. With the refugee crisis when it happened, Germany actually had a system that actually worked for quite a while, where they provided jobs to the people, and the people were managed. They were learning languages, and they managed to stay in Germany later on. So it kind of worked, but still there were problems, because when there is a huge influx of the people, I mean, if there is a refugee crisis, like, we should work together, right? And not just let people come in one single country. And I think the countries that are next to those countries where the refugees come from, they also have to share some burden. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there might be some ghost voters if IDs are not required during the voting process. Yeah. Exactly. I'm really worried Germany couldn't hold the line for illegal immigration. I don't think that's the majority of the. Well, I will read it out loud. Well, in general, I find the extreme left and right-wing people quite difficult to communicate with. Unfortunately, these are the majority of the U.S. No, I don't think that the majority is on the extreme sides of it. I think like people are in between, and I have many American friends and colleagues and partners, and mostly people are somewhere in between. On some issues, they will support the Republicans. On the other issues, they will support the Democrats. So that's normal. It's normal. But the people who like voicing their opinions and who are very vocal, they might be on the extreme sides of that. So that's why you think that, because there is the noise around you of extreme opinions, but it's not actually made by the majority of people. Well, and in Germany, I mean, Germany did one thing right. It was the immigration reform, and allowing people to come to Germany easier with the right paperwork, and then letting them apply for the citizenship if they know the language, if they pay taxes, and so on and so forth. I think this is right, because the birth rates in Germany are very low, and you have to open up for immigration, but it should be legal. People should come. People should live for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years before they become citizens. They have to learn the language. They have to get used to your society. They have to integrate. Once they're fully integrated, yes, they should be able to become citizens, because they provided for the country. They did everything. So yeah, what Germany did wrong is allowing too many of the refugees come at the same time. That really caused my problems related to migration, like crime rates and drugs-related issues and alienation by the other side of the society. So I'm for legal migration 100%, and I'm for actually liberalizing rules for legal migration to all the countries. But only people that can have a job, that can stay, that can provide for the country should be able to come, and not the people who you just don't know who these people are. So yeah. So same thing with France, and with France, it's many people just go to France and then they move to the UK illegally, like through the Strait of Dover, through the English Channel. Yeah, I don't think that Europe would be overrun by illegal migration. No, not possible. And right now there is a shift, especially after Russia invaded Ukraine, and with the thing that happened in 2015 with big migrant crisis. I think right now Europe is changing, and the only thing I wanted to say, it's a shame that the UK left the EU, because it was probably one of the countries that could actually balance out the German influence within the EU, and it was a better organization when there was the UK, there was Italy, there was France and Germany, and all kind of balancing out each other. Right now it became more like one-sided for quite a while, but it still changes. And I don't, and honestly, I feel like European politicians are becoming more concerned about the security issues. Center-left politicians also. I mean, yeah, like on the extreme side of it, there is not so much in Poland though, but in Germany, like there is like on the one side you have AfD, like the far right party, and you have Die Linke, like the link on the far left, and they are like the radical right and left parties are what are dangerous for Europe. This is where the danger lies. But if we move back to center left and center right, very with strong defense policies and with strong institutions, I think Europe can withstand all of the crises that are thrown at it. So, united we're strong, and we have to be very close to the United States, because China and Russia wants us divided. Who wants the Europeans to hate Americans? Chinese and Russians want to. Chinese and Russians want that, because we're much closer to each other with our values, with our culture, and with everything. And same thing is related to Japan, to Taiwan, to all the democratic countries. They have the same set of values. Okay, and yeah, before I leave for the event, oh, I've been talking for an hour already. Wow. Yeah, that's the news that Taiwan is discussing right now. Wen-je, former presidential candidate, he got arrested in a corruption case, and the amount of money that he is involved into taking, it's pretty big to the Taiwanese standards. And let me show you, the numbers. Yeah, the numbers. It's like it's related. It's around. Shin allegedly gave Ying more than NT 47.4 million, which is US $1.4 million, as a part of his company's effort to lobby the Taipei city government to increase the FAR. This is what the prosecutors say. And also, yeah, that's related to one of the major like development and building projects. So, but the problem is not with how much money did he steal, how much money did he take, because there's going to be more cases. Because I've heard that there is more on Wen-je than that case, but this is just that surfaced recently. Yeah, that's one thing. What I wanted to tell you is what kind of image did Mr. Ke wanted to portray himself as, what wanted to create for himself, because he came into power on that anti-corruption kind of rhetoric. He was saying that the blue and the green are equally bad. 蓝绿一样烂. Like, this is how he became mayor of Taipei. Even though the Greens, the Democratic Progressive Party, actually helped him. They didn't put forward their candidate in 2014 when he was taking part in the mayoral elections, and this is how got elected. Then he turned out to be very much against the Democratic Progressive Party, the DPP. Then he turned to be more pro KMT. Then there were even talks that it will be a coalition government, and they will. He will be vice president, and Hou Youyi, like a KMT guy, would be the president, like during the election, the presidential candidate. So there were talks like that. And they were like 蓝白合, like cooperation between the whites and the blues, meaning Wen-je's party and the KMT party. And every time he is delivering a speech, he's talking to the media, he's highlighting two things. First one is that he is not corrupt, that he never steals, that he is a very straightforward, down to earth, doesn't care about power, doesn't care about anything. He just wants to make Taiwan a better place. And second thing is his education, and that he's a doctor. Like almost in every single interview, 我是台大的. Yeah, I'm from National Taiwan University. I graduated from the National Taiwan University, and I'm a doctor. He is also famous for saying like, oh, you usual folks, you know nothing. Your brain is created differently from the brains of us doctors. something like that. Something like that. 我们外科医生想的不一样. We surgeons, we think differently. Yeah, we surgeons, we think differently. Like that's what he says. Usually, I mean, like whatever you're talking to him about. And right now, you see, he also, like in his party, there is another woman. The case against her, actually, there is a lot of evidence, and she will probably go to jail also for corruption. Mr. Ko said once that ladies who are graduated with STEM degrees, STEM, with STEM degrees, they will never steal, and they're not corrupted. But you see that that's wrong, because the mayor of Hsinchu actually has a STEM degree. And right now, that kind of thing. He also is, that after the elections in Taiwan, all the candidates, they receive some funding, like some governmental funding for the elections. It doesn't matter if you win, if you lose. One vote that you receive equals to 30 NT dollars, basically $1 per vote. So yeah, and Wen-je, he received that support, like $1 per vote. He received more than 3 million votes, $1 American. So basically more than 3 million American dollars. He didn't give it to his party. He didn't spend it on the development of his party, of Taiwan People's Party, but he bought a house in Taipei. The first thing he did was he bought a house in Taipei, another house in Taipei. So that's also talking about how corrupted are some of the people, and how you tend to overcompensate for things that you lack most of. Like, you say that you're not corrupted, then you highlight how badly are you fighting with the corruption, like what Xi Jinping does. when he became the chairman, he said that he will launch the anti-corruption campaign. So you see how it goes. The thing, how Joe Biden says, and right now he is being detained. He's being detained. He's under arrest, and we're all looking forward to what is the decision of court. There might be a bail imposed on him, but they also might just put him in jail. Not in jail, in detention center first. Why? This is also interesting because there is some information that he wanted to run to the United States. He wanted to escape Taiwan. So, and it was at the same day that I was actually on my flight from Berlin to New York. And that day I made the video in Mandarin and say, hey, somebody cannot come to the US, but I can. Yeah. Yeah. So basically like that. And yeah, let's take a look and let's keep on following that. The biggest concern I have is that there are many young Taiwanese people that actually supported Ko. And he is very good at media communication. And right now there are protests around the courthouse to make the judge let him out. But you see how it goes. And he became like a leader of the young people, the young Taiwanese that are unsatisfied with blue and green politicians. But his China stance is pretty much aligned with the Blue Party, with the KMT party. So we'll see how it goes. I will keep you updated. If he gets detained and if he gets imprisoned later on, you will know it first. So yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't have much more time to talk to you. Are you going to be doing this every night? No, I'm doing weekly live streams. Don't have time. I'll try to do... Okay, let me tell you. This channel is not monetized yet. And I'm trying to get it monetized because once it's monetized, it's good for the algorithm. YouTube will be recommend my English videos more than it does right now. So I'll probably, while in the US... and while I have good internet, I will probably do more English live streams. That's a good idea. And I cannot promise that I will be able to do that every night, but at least I'll try to do it like once every 3 days. Maybe we'll just walk around some areas while live streaming also. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's stay in touch. And God bless America. God bless Poland. And God bless Taiwan. See you next time.